So it finally happened. PETA finally got what they deserve. Was it from farmers? Was it from corporation? No, none of those. It was from the world, because they finally went too far. They crossed that line by half a mile and they attacked Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. Alright, so some of you may have known that Steve Irwin's 57th birthday was on February 22nd, or what would have been his birthday if he was still alive. Steve Irwin, or also known as the Crocodile Hunter, was on Google on the 22nd. They did a doodle of him just to show their appreciation on his birthday for all that he did. He did a lot. He did different shows showing people how to handle and work with dangerous and wild animals. And he was a really great guy, and he was very passionate about his work and what he did. But this isn't exactly about him. It's actually about PETA. PETA saw Google and what they did for Steve's birthday, and they just went off on it. So pretty much PETA just tried to tear Google apart for them appreciating the crocodile hunter and for what he did, and said he pretty much abused animals and he attacked them in their natural habitat, when really he saved a lot of animals, and he showed people the beauty of them, but also that how dangerous they can be and how they should avoid them if they can. So really, he just raised awareness for how dangerous these animals are, but how beautiful they are at the same time. So he really was a good guy, but of course PETA has to attack anyone they don't agree with. So looking into PETA's Twitter, we're gonna see some of the tweets they said about him. It's really just crappy, and they went a little too far and they were attacked for it, so they got what they deserved. But Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. He dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile and wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Today's Google Doodle sends a dangerous fawning message. Wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats. So he also dealt with a lot of animals in zoos, and dealt with animals that were not where they belong and that were getting injured, that he took care of, got them rehabilitated, and sent them back out in the wild. So he was a good guy. It's not like he just went out and was a big game hunter or shooting all these illegal animals or animals going extinct. He was trying to save them. And then next, PETA tweeted, Steve Irwin's actions were not on target with his supposed message of protecting wildlife. A real wildlife expert and someone who respects animals for the individuals they are, leave them to their own business and their natural homes. For the most part, he did leave them alone. Yeah, he went and worked with them, some in their natural habitat, to kind of show people why you should leave them alone in their natural habitat, and what they're supposed to look like, what they're supposed to act like and do in their natural habitat. He was just trying to show the world more about these animals. And I know PETA isn't about facts, but he was really showing the facts about these animals. Clearly PETA is not about the facts, because just scrolling down their Twitter to even find these, I saw so many articles about the dairy industry about how farmers are doing this or doing that, but there wasn't any facts behind them. It was just pictures that looked bad, that PETA was just blowing up saying they're hurting these animals, they're doing this to these animals, but really the pictures they had was, they were like the worst of the worst, of someone either not doing something right, but in the end this really attacks all farmers and affects all people in the animal industry, because now the people who are doing a good job are going to be regulated even harder to a point that they can't pay for it or keep up with it, and they'll end up falling out of the industry, and then you're going to get more and more corporations that have these mega farms where they have 10,000, 20,000 cows milking, that they don't care if one falls over, they can replace them. So really PETA has actually caused most of these mega farms on their own just by attacking the small town dairy farms. Because small town dairy farms all know the better they treat their animals, the more production and money they'll get in return. And that's something that PETA will never touch, never hit on, is production is largely based on the animal's comfort. The more comfortable the animal is, the more healthier the animal is, the more happy it is, it will produce more. A cow that can go get its own feed whenever it wants, maybe has an automatic back brush that spins every time it rubs against it, is a lot happier animal than a cow stuck with 5,000-10,000 other animals shoved in a barn, and they will produce a lot more milk. But PETA doesn't see this. They see one incident of someone doing something wrong, because no matter what group you pick out, there's always going to be like a 1 or 2% of bad people in it. And that's pretty much what PETA is blowing up on, but it affects the other 99-98% of the population of that group. And really, the people who don't do it as well or not like they're supposed to are the ones who's going to thrive from this and keep growing, while the people who do it right are going to fall off. They can't afford it, they can't keep up with it, because they've put their whole lives into it. Some people work almost 24/7 trying to keep up with this, and PETA won't recognize that. So they're really hurting these people who do it right, and pretty much destroying their families, their livelihood, and their business, just because they have an agenda and they're just attacking with no facts or evidence most of the time. If you support PETA, good for you. The only thing I would recommend is just look into the facts and do a little more digging on your own. Just don't believe every article you see, because they're going to push their agenda with facts or not. So to the next tweet, they had 3 tweets about this. It is harassment to drag exotic animals, including babies taken from their mothers, around from TV talk shows. Where was I? To conferences, and force them to perform as Steve Irwin did. Animals deserve to live as they want to, not as humans demand. The Google Doodle should represent that. This is just... So I don't understand why PETA is attacking him like this, because he informed the world about how to handle animals and how to respect animals. So on the basis of what PETA kind of stands for, but they're attacking him for this, for taking animals and talking about them on TV shows and in conferences, when he was just trying to show the world and teach the world about these animals. But for some reason PETA doesn't see that. and they pretty much attack him for doing exactly what they're doing. So PETA's agenda, I don't even know what direction they're trying to go, because they're attacking people that are on the same path as them in the same field. So what do you want, PETA? So that's kind of my rant for the day. PETA is stupid, but if you support it, good for you. Just do your research and make sure you actually know what you're talking about, because there's nothing I hate more than someone who wants to have a discussion over a topic that we have conflicts of interest over, and they can't show me any facts, and their way of dealing with it is repeating themselves or raising their voice. Just give me facts. If you can't give me facts, then maybe you're wrong, and just accept that, go home, get more facts, and then we can talk about it later. But just everyone around the world just blew up on PETA and attacked them. There was a lot of people who said they supported PETA for years and years, but after those tweets and what they did, they could no longer donate or support PETA. And something I don't understand is a lot of their shelters are kill shelters. So this means if a cat or a dog does not get adopted in a certain amount of time, they will kill those animals. So I really don't understand how PETA can fight for animal rights when they have kill shelters. So if you no longer support PETA, you would be a lot better off donating your time, your resources, and your money to like the SPCA, to these other shelters that are not kill shelters, if you really care about animal rights and what happens to them. Because the issue with PETA is they are a kill shelter, which completely goes against what they stand for, which I don't even know where they stand, because the ground is constantly shifting under their feet because they're always jumping from one side to the next. So if you really want to support a good animal rights organization, go support like your SPCA.